What's up guys, I'm Akila. Welcome to my channel. In today's video we're reviewing the new Colourpop Pretty Fresh foundation. We did do a review on the tinted moisturizer, so if you would like to see that, I will link that up in the card. But let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, for my skin, I already moisturized. I just need to prime. And for primer, we're going to use the Pretty Fresh primer. This came out with the tinted moisturizer. I don't really reach for it that often, but I do remember that I liked it. And it smells like coconuts, which I love. Yeah, so it just feels like putting on lotion. And even though this is a review for a foundation, I do want to give the foundation a real try at this because I wouldn't just put on foundation without my primer routine. So I'm going to use a little bit of the XX Revolution Second Skin Primer. It's mattifying and it does control pores. I typically get oily in my T-zone, so I'm just going to put on my nose and a little bit on my forehead. Okay, so now we could go ahead and get into the foundation. This is the bottle. Just like the tinted moisturizer, there is hyaluronic acid. So it's a hydrating formula, ideal for all skin types. Has coconut water, which is known to support hydrating and skin softness. Okay, so it's supposed to have medium buildable coverage for natural, healthy looking skin. Okay, I got mine when it released in Ulta before it released in Colourpop. When it came, I was able to swatch it to see if I was gonna like the shade, and I think I did a pretty good job picking it out. The Ulta site, when it came out, didn't really help much, but I think this is going to match. I got it in dark 157W. On the Colourpop site, it gives you examples and pictures, and it's a little more helpful just for reference in other foundations, well, Colourpop foundations. For the tinted moisturizer, I was dark 19N, and in the no filter foundation, I'm 165N, I think. We're gonna go ahead and try out the foundation. One side I'm going to use a brush, and then on the other side I'm going to use a sponge. I'm gonna do sponge on this side and brush on this side. It's more of like a runny texture. It's not thick like the other foundation was. I think I did pretty good on the match. It's almost dead on. I'm looking on the site just to give you a little more details. There is 42 shades and it costs $16. The no filter foundation was $12 and then the stick foundation was $10. So it's just a little bit more expensive than the original foundation. Okay, so I'm going to use this NYX number 3 brush. I think it's the powder brush. Okay, so here is one layer with a brush, and then I'm going to use this A Dose of Color sponge to do this side. So far from what I'm seeing, the sponge just soaks up too much of this foundation. It's like really liquidy, so I wouldn't use a sponge for this foundation anymore. Like, look at the difference in the coverage using a brush to using the sponge. So I'm gonna go in with one more pump and even out the sides. Okay, so looking at the foundation up close, it looks pretty nice. Yes, it's more on the dewy side because it is a hydrating foundation, but it looks so pretty. It looks a little more dewy on the camera than it does in person, but I really like it. Usually I put on face oils and stuff like that before I put on my foundation to get it to look like this, and the fact that I could skip that step while wearing this foundation, I really like that. It's giving me that dewy youthfulness that I like. And since I am reviewing the Pretty Fresh line today, we're just going to go ahead and use the Pretty Fresh concealers. I have medium dark 120W and medium dark 145W. I'm going to go in with 145. Like, these concealers were nice. I'm more of a full coverage girl. Even though it says full coverage on the site, this doesn't give me full coverage, and that could just be me and what I'm accustomed to, but it wasn't really one of my favorite concealers. But if you have like dry under eyes and need moisture under your eyes, like, this is a really good concealer for that. for me, I have really creasy under eyes, so this just gets in all of my creases and creases up on me. So let's see how it performs today. And then I'm going to put a little bit of 120, which is the brighter shade, like right in here. Like, I've been really getting into using brushes to blend out my concealer and foundation lately, and I'm using the Morphe M536 brush. It's like a domed concealer brush. I really like it. Like, before I couldn't do my makeup without my sponge, but now like I'm really into using brushes and then going over it with a sponge at the end. The thing with this concealer, it looks very skin-like and it's really beautiful. That blended in so nicely. Okay, so I'm gonna blend out my concealer one more time before I set it. And I'm using the Mented loose setting powder. I'm gonna use the Colourpop Talk to the Palm bronzer. And I'm gonna kick off the powder on my face. I'm going to use the setting spray as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at this up close before I go off and do the rest of my makeup. I think it looks good. It's giving me medium coverage, but more on the light to medium side. It's not a thick heavy foundation where like you can feel it on your face. Like, it just feels like I got on maybe sunscreen. It's not a heavy foundation. I need to set it a little more around my mouth because I see a little creasing right here happening. But besides that, it looks pretty good. I don't really have anything to complain about because I feel like this would be like the perfect everyday foundation if you was to wear foundation every day. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I use this palette by BPerfect. I was able to get this palette on discount through a website called WeThrift. You'll be able to get like discount codes for like some of your favorite brands. I seen even Fenty Beauty was on there. So yeah, if you guys want to check out WeThrift, I will leave a link down below for you guys to check it out. Let's go ahead and look at how the foundation held up while I was doing the rest of my makeup. It set pretty well. I used a setting powder and a little bit of the Sephora Micro Smooth and it looks good. I guess the true test would be to see how it lasts throughout the day, but I like the finish of the foundation. I think it looks really beautiful. Okay, right now it's 2:48. I'm gonna try to give it at least 4 to 5 hours worth of wear time and come back and give you guys my final thoughts. So I'll be back. Okay guys, I am back and it is now 8:04. So that means I roughly wore the foundation for 5 hours, and this is the results of wearing this foundation on combo oily skin for 5 hours. And like I was saying earlier, it does look a little more dewy than it does in person. In person, I don't look as oily as I do in the monitor, but for wearing this foundation for 5 hours, I think it looks pretty good. Don't mind my missing lashes. Like, that was the first thing to go. For it to be like a hydrating foundation, it looks really good. The only places that I got really like oily is like up here, and maybe the primer really made a difference in my T-zone, but my skin looks pretty good. So I'm going to put a side-by-side comparison of when I left. So yeah, I would give this foundation my stamp of approval. Like, I like it. I actually really like it. I like it more than the tinted moisturizer, but that's probably just because of coverage, the difference in coverage. I do have acne scarring, so I do like to cover that, and this foundation does that for me. It is buildable. Like, it didn't completely cover like my blemishes, but it did just enough. It had like the right amount of coverage, and I think the thing that I like the most about the foundation is the finish, because I like more so dewier foundations now. Even though I have oily skin, like, I still try to make that work out. So yeah guys, this is available for purchase on Colourpop's website now, so I suggest you guys to give it a try. So if you found today's video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.